was there, and I'm going to be talking specifically about the ones currently being offered at Sri Lanka, because they're the ones you want to hear about. If you want to know about other ones, feel free to send an email. We have a large number of undergraduate courses, single and double degrees. We have postgraduate ones, which I won't go into, and I'll really talk about now just the Bachelor of Information Technology and the Bachelor of Computing, and specifically I'll talk to the majors that you're offering. So starting at the Bachelor of IT, this is our more generalist degree. Yes, it will teach you decent programming skills. It really focuses on Python because you want to get things done. So that's that fundamentals of programming unit. There's 4 electives. So those electives can be used to take a range of other units, including units from, say, a business degree or mechatronics degree or whatever, to really focus on what it is that you want to specialize in. It has the capstone computing projects, which I'll get to later and are fairly important, but a lot of this is about basic programming and networking. So if I wanted to talk about the IT degree as a whole, I would talk about mainly, yes, you've got intermediate programming, mostly in Python, but you've also got a lot of networks and distributed programming, because a lot of things are being done online now. As you're quite aware, we're talking online here. It's also going a bit more into the nitty-gritty of some things that you wouldn't normally come across. So how to deal with the details of Unix systems and set up server jobs, and how to harden servers against outside attacks. This is not a cybersecurity degree, but it does give you the basic introduction of cybersecurity that you'll need as a general computing worker, and the additional information you need to look after your own networks, the networks of the company you're running. The Bachelor of IT is really good if you're looking to be in a small to medium enterprise, where you may have to have a range of different roles rather than just sitting down and programming every day. So this is a very flexible degree. And if you're going to be working in a family business or something like that, this is certainly one to consider. And it's also one that's not quite as strenuous as some of the other courses. We do offer other courses. One of them is software engineering. This is a very successful course, and it really focuses in on the coding. If you want to be a really serious coder, software engineering is probably the first thing to look at. It does have a fair bit of overlap with the Bachelor of IT that I just talked about, but it has some units that are considered quite important. So we now start with the introduction to Java instead, and we have a really in-depth look at design patterns and other things that you're going to need to be successful as a coder. You have the normal testing, the obligatory security units, because if you're writing code, you want to make sure it's not as easy to hack. And again, we have the capstone projects, because that really puts everything together and sets it off. Software engineering is a harder degree than IT in general, especially this unit here, which is seen by a lot of our students as the most important programming-centric unit on graduation. But that challenge is offset by what you get out of the course. You really learn some really good skills out of these courses. So if you're after a challenge, the Bachelor of Computing Software Engineering is quite useful. Now, I'll also, so I've mentioned this is in fairly good programming. You're not going to get an undergraduate course. Certainly in Australia, that's much better in the programming. Really good software engineering parts, including design patterns. There is basic data security and software security. It's not the aim, but we teach you enough so that you know enough to not endanger your employer. And that's actually very important, because a lot of employers want to know you're not going to cost them money. I won't go into the details of computer science because it's not particularly relevant to you at the moment. Although some of these units are found, especially the artificial intelligence, can be found in the mechatronics degree. But I do want to talk about cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is the course that's starting with you next year. It hasn't run in Sri Lanka before. And this is probably the most challenging of our computing courses at the moment. It has, again, a fairly similar start, and you'll see the first year is actually very similar to both the other degrees, but it rapidly gets quite a bit more challenging. This unit here in Security Enhanced Programming is the same one that the software engineering units students take, and it's currently being taught by a person who actually works in this field in industry, and he teaches for us part-time just this one unit because that's his expertise. Similarly, this penetration testing and defense unit is a very in-depth unit. We're not just looking at, here are some tools that you can use. Frankly, a script kiddie can do that. What we're teaching you is really advanced vectors of how to look at different attack vectors, how to evaluate sites, and going into quite a lot of detail. The gentleman who put this together is one of the top about 200 certified cybersecurity professionals in the world. So he really knows what he's doing. And incident handling is, again, an advanced cybersecurity unit for if you're in a business and your business has a security incident, what's the best way to go about it? How do you learn from it? How to document it, et cetera, et cetera. We do have some policy units, but really these are the in-depth cybersecurity units. Now, again, we're looking at this from a programming point of view. So this is a programming degree. Also, you notice things like machine learning. Why? Because if you're going to be dealing with cybersecurity in the long run, you're probably going to end up making use of machine intelligence, and you need to know the basics of that. So our cybersecurity degree is still a good programming course. It will teach you the basics of programming, and in fact, our cybersecurity students can write software. That's quite intentional because somebody has to write those cybersecurity tools that are used by everybody. So yes, you can use the tools, yes, you can do the policy, but also you can do the programming to write those, or you can be the cybersecurity specialist on a programming team. You have your choices, but it is a tough degree. In particular, we do look at policy, including ISO 27000, which is fairly important in cybersecurity, and the very hands-on unit in both cyber attack and cyber defense, which are important for you. Don't think cybersecurity is going to be like those shows you see on TV, but it is really an advanced puzzle. If you really want to look at advanced puzzle, if you really like thinking, cybersecurity might well be for you. And of course, the job prospects are rather high at the moment and will be for years to come. So that's a quick run through on the courses. There's a fair bit of overlap, you'll notice. So I pointed out that the Java unit, the first semester, which is in software engineering and cybersecurity, the machine learning unit, which I believe is also in the Bachelor of Engineering Mechatronics. Our courses do tend to bleed into each other because everything has to be multidisciplinary working together. The important thing is that everything is based on feedback from industry. Most of that industry is admittedly in Perth, but we do get a lot of information from our international stakeholders as well. Now, the last most up-to-date student survey that I've run myself was in 2019. So I talked to the people in the capstone unit and said, how are you looking for jobs? Are you looking, have you found, what stage are you at? So I ran this in May, given the fact that our students graduate in November, December. So these were students that weren't going to be graduating until later that year, and we're looking at maybe starting their job in February 2020. Of the students that answered, 92% roughly already had a job lined up for graduation. We have students who get job offers during their second year because we teach the programming in depth enough that many of our students are in fact useful after the second year, although I do encourage everybody to, of course, stay for the full degree to get all the learning you can out of it. I would like to point out that a large proportion of these students were studying at offshore locations. And in fact, almost all of those students offshore were from your Sri Lanka campus. So the results there were very, very positive. And of course, times have changed since then. I'll run another survey next year now that things have settled down a bit. But we are getting a lot of interest. I've dealt with 3 emails this week already with people wanting to advertise jobs to our students in Bentley because they're having trouble finding sufficient staff. Now, I've gone over time, but let's just say our students do appreciate our course. They are challenging but rewarding, and we're very happy to assist our students with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hannes. Now I welcome Associate Professor Cesar Sanchez, Engineering Foundation Year Academic Lead, Faculty of Science and Engineering of Curtin University, to speak about the Curtin University engineering programs offered in Sri Lanka. Good morning, Professor Sanchez, over to you.
Good morning, Sri Lanka. Good morning, everyone. I think it's still morning, right? A couple of minutes before it's noon there. So yeah, thank you for the invitation. I'm going to try to share my screen. I hope there's no hiccups. Let's see. Can you see my slides now?
Yes, it is visible.
Perfect. So I'm here today to talk to you about engineering at Curtin University, particularly our campus in Sri Lanka. So perhaps you have heard or you have thought about these questions before. What do engineers do? And there are many possible answers to it. This particular definition or answer to that question comes from Engineers Australia, the accrediting body for engineering degrees in Australia. And they say that, as you can read, the work of professional engineers involves the application of advanced skills in analysis and knowledge of science, engineering, technology, management, and social responsibility to problem solving and synthesis in new and existing fields. It's a bit longish, a bit overworked. Basically, what engineers do, in other words, is apply science and technology to solve problems. Now, what kind of problems? Engineering, first of all, is about people. It's a socio-technical discipline. Yes, you may be thinking, oh, but I'm very good at maths, I'm very good at physics, therefore I must be a good engineer. Yes, those disciplines are important, and if you are good at them, chances are you will be a good engineer, but it's not enough. Engineering is about people because you will be solving problems for people. And there are broad spectrum of people in the world, right? There's people who are very well off, who have all their basic needs solved, and they may be thinking, what problems they have. They may be wanting faster, cheaper internet. They may be wanting cheap electric cars that can run for hundreds of kilometers with one single charge of their batteries. They may be wanting going to space with Elon Musk at a cheaper price. All those things, all those problems are already being addressed by engineers as we speak, right? We are working on those disciplines. But there's another side, of the spectrum of people, which is unfortunately the majority of the world at the moment, who lack the basic infrastructure. They lack sanitation, education, infrastructure, roads, housing, telecommunications, and engineers play a big role there as well. So when you think engineering, you should be thinking not just top of the range, top of the spear research or development of technology. You should be thinking about the people who need, who have very pressing survival, life or death needs, and you can make a difference. It's a framework that we use from the United Nations. It's called the Sustainable Development Goals. You will see this a lot if you come to us. We use them to frame sort of what we do, along with the Engineers Australia Stage 1 competencies. We also use the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs for short, to frame what we do. And as you see listed there are some of the more pressing problems the world has these days. And we need engineers. We need lots and lots of engineers to solve these problems. Now, you may say, what kind of engineer? You know, if I become an engineer, what can I do? Well, the answer is engineering has many, many faces. Engineering is not just about maths and science and solving equations and designing circuits or buildings or bridges. Engineering is very, very broad, and you may be surprised when you graduate all the opportunities that you will have. And regardless of what your skills, your strengths are, if you're very good at communicating, if you're very good at working with people, well, you may be working in sales or in management or negotiating deals. If you're very, very good with maths and programming and you like to work on a computer most of the time, then you could be doing design or programming. If you like hands-on, you like to get your hands dirty and work with tools and technology and people to solve problems, then you could be a field engineer, you know, pouring concrete to build a bridge 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, that's ability. So whatever your preferences are, whatever your strengths and your passions reside, chances are there's a place for you in engineering. And if all of the others fail, you can also become a politician. At Curtin in SLIIT, we offer 4 different disciplines in engineering: civil and construction, electrical and electronic, mechanical and mechatronic. And the way we describe this is engineering is a journey, right? It's a journey in which you're going to become the best possible engineer you can be. And here the active word is becoming, because for us, engineering is not something you do, it's something you become, right? It's about being an engineer. At the end of your degree, you're not going to say, I do engineering. You will say, I am an engineer. So it's a to be profession. You have to become an engineer. And to become an engineer, you need to go through a journey. And that's what you will be doing with us. And this is how we approach your education, right? Thinking, giving you opportunities to become the best possible engineer you can be. To do that, well, we have a world-class engineering program that is accredited by Engineers Australia. And because of that, it's also recognized by the Washington Accord. And under this accord, all these countries mutually recognize their engineering programs. So any engineer who is graduating from Curtin under the accredited degree will have their qualifications recognized in all these countries, which is a good thing, I suppose. We have a reputation at Curtin of being very hands-on, right? We will become an engineer by doing engineering, by working a lot in labs, solving lots of problems in teams, and linking with industry. So it's very hands-on. So and it's challenging. You can expect to be challenged when you're becoming an engineer. It's not a simple thing. It's not easy. If it was easy, that means we are doing something wrong. It's meant to be challenging, but it's very rewarding too. We have new facilities that are exclusive for Curtin students back in Colombo. These are some photographs of the actual facilities, infrastructure that is available for you when you us at Curtin. So it's a great opportunity to be some of the first classes to be able to use all these facilities. And that's, again, exclusive for Curtin University students. A typical engineering course at Curtin lasts for 4 years. The year 1 is common to all the disciplines. It's called the engineering year. It comprises 8 units or 200 credits. after the first year, you have to select a major, one of the 4 that I listed before. And then in year 2, you start having basic discipline content, another 200 credits. Then in year 3, you get intermediate discipline content. And in year 4, you do advanced discipline content and a final year project. All engineers at Curtin graduate with honors. It's a 4-year course. So all engineers must do a final year project, individual most of the time, although team projects are possible. And with that, you complete your 800 credits and you can graduate. At the moment, if I'm not mistaken, the scheme is that you do your first 2 years in Sri Lanka, and the expectation is that you will come to Australia to do your last 2 years and graduate with us, but perhaps in Sri Lanka, having done 2 years in Sri Lanka and 2 years in Australia. This is the structure of the first year. We have 8 units, as I mentioned. Every unit is 25 credits. You do 100 credits per semester. These units are not serialized. That is, you may take all these units in any order, basically. This is perhaps the recommended way to do it, but it's not necessarily the one you're going to do. All units are offered in every term. So if you fail, failing is not a bad thing. Sometimes you need to repeat units in order to cement well your fundamentals. If you repeat units, you can repeat in the semester immediately after. You don't have to wait for a year to repeat units, because we offer these units in every semester. At least that's in Bentley. I don't think that happens in Sri Lanka. I may be wrong there. Yeah, I think in Sri Lanka, you only do 4 units per semester. I have to double check on that. Sorry about that. So you have these 8 units. If you want to know more about this, you may visit the handbook, the university website, www.handbook.curtin.edu.au for more information about what is involved in this unit, and also to visit the units that you will do in each one of the disciplines, because I don't have that information here with me today. Entry requirements, this is the information that I was given. I hope it's still right. If not, please correct me. You need to score 8 points or more in the following A levels, all 3 subjects in maths, physics, and/or chemistry. So we need you to come with a solid foundations in mathematics, particularly calculus. It's important that you have been exposed to calculus and you know what it's about. And then science, physics, and/or chemistry. I say and/or because one is the entry requirement. If you do both, it's better, because when you do here the optional unit in first year, if you did both, then you can choose from a list an option and do an extra unit that broadens your knowledge, your education. But if not, you will do the missing science in first year. At the end of the first year, everybody will have done physics and chemistry. So there's English requirements, as you probably know. IELTS, TOEFL, or PTE are accepted. There are different levels that you need to achieve to be admitted, because the education is in English, right? All the lectures and all the material is provided in English. At some point, if you transfer to Australia, everything English, obviously. And if your level of English is not good enough, you're going to struggle. And it's not fair for you to be struggling in something that you could shine just because you don't have the right level of English. So think about that. That's it. On my side, if you need more information, feel free to visit our website, contact me directly. You can get my contact details later. We'll probably put my email in the chat later. And that's it. So I think we will have a question and answer session later on. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides and pass the control back to our host. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sanchez. Now I would like to invite Associate Professor Peter Dell, Deputy Head of School of Management and Marketing, Faculty of Business and Law, to speak about the newly introduced Bachelor of Business Administration program from Curtin University, which is to be offered in Sri Lanka from next year onwards. Good afternoon, Professor Dell. Over to you.
I
think you're muted,
oh.
Peter. You're still muted, Peter.
Sorry about that. There's always one, and it had to be me. I'm just sharing I'm just about to start sharing my screen. Now, am I sharing that screen? I hope everyone can see that.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the thumbs up in the traditional way. As I was saying before, Nigel pointed out that I was on mute. I am very pleased to be speaking to you today, and thanks for the invitation and the opportunity to speak. As was said, I'm here to speak about the Bachelor of Business Administration. This is not a new course. Curtin has been offering this course for many years, but it's will newly be offered in Sri Lanka via SLIIT very soon, which is nice because for two reasons. The first is the course, the BBA, has recently been rejuvenated and updated and improved, and so it's great to make it available and launch it in SLIIT. And the second reason is very personal, is that once upon a time I used to teach SLIIT students, not in Sri Lanka, but we had a lot of students who came from Sri Lanka to Australia through the Science and Engineering program that Cesar and Hannes have spoken about, and quite a few of them came up to study our Information Systems program, and I always enjoyed teaching the students from SLIIT. I found them to be very, very capable students. I'm glad to be able to speak to some more today. BBA, which is not doing anything, excuse me. So why, it's a Bachelor of Business Administration. Why study business? It's a very, very generalist degree. There's a chat message on there, sorry. A very generalist degree. It's not a degree that prepares you for a single profession or a single industry. This is a question I get often. What do you do with a BBA degree? We know if I study medicine, I'll become a doctor. If I study law, I'll become a lawyer. If I study geology, I'll probably become a geologist. But with a BBA, it teaches you how to, it prepares you for a career in pretty much any organisation. Now, I want to pick up on the word business. It doesn't mean you must work for a business. It's really for any organisation. It needn't be a for-profit organisation. It could be a not-for-profit, it could be a government organisation, it could be a hospital, it could be an aid organisation, it could be any kind of organisation at all. But ultimately, at their core, all of these organisations are run in a similar way. They're all, for want of a better word, they're all a business. Some of them have a profit motive, some of them don't, but they all do the same sorts of things. So this degree, the Bachelor of Business Administration, prepares you for a really broad variety of careers in pretty much any industry. That I think is very important because it helps future-proof your career. You're learning how to work in a diverse and flexible kind of way. So it doesn't matter what the future will throw at you, you'll be able to pick it up and carry on. A really, really important part of the degree is that it allows you to gain real-world experience. Now, that's obviously not going to be at the beginning in your first semester, but by the end of the degree, you'll have had multiple opportunities for working with real clients, perhaps for an internship or a real project with real clients, all these sorts of things, similar to the sorts of opportunities that you often get in other programs. As Cesar's already spoken about the excellent engineering program at Curtin and how you have these sorts of opportunities there as well. This is a really important thing because, of course, life isn't in a classroom. Life is in the outside world, and gaining experience while in your degree that helps prepare you for the outside world is very important. And finally, the the BBA degree, it really helps you diversify your skill set. You're not narrowly focusing on one thing. Some business degrees will prepare you only for accounting, or they will prepare you only for public relations or only for finance. We've deliberately chosen not to offer that because life is more than only accounting or public relations or finance or whatever it might be. And so we don't want to constrain your opportunities by focusing only on one thing. So you get a diverse skill set that's broadly applicable. Pressing the button. The possibilities, of course, are endless. Now, we know, as you can tell from my grey hair, that I'm not Generation Z, but we do know that Generation Z will have on an average of 6 careers in their lifetime. I'm not Generation Z, I'm already on my 2nd career. As you heard in the introduction, I'm the Deputy Head of a School of Management and Marketing, but in a past life, I was a software engineer. Hello to my friends from engineering. So this is my 2nd career, and I'm not Gen Z. The world has changed, is changing a lot more rapidly now than it was when I was at uni. And so, you know, we can expect many more careers for graduates of today and tomorrow than graduates of my generation. 70% of jobs of the future demand 70% more transferable skills than the jobs of the past. You have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable, you have to be able to respond to new technologies, new business models, disruptive things. Imagine being a taxi driver and then Uber comes along and everybody says, well, Uber's disrupted the taxi industry, but imagine the disruption that will come when driverless vehicles render Uber drivers obsolete altogether. You know, these are the sorts of things that are happening more and more and more. The rate of change is getting faster. And so being able to pivot and to transfer your skills from one context to another is increasingly important. And of course, I needn't emphasize the last point, 3/4 of people think their job has a significant influence over their overall quality of life. Well, you know, we all want a good job, right? So a good job in the future will be one where, well, to get a good job in the future, you'll need to be able to transfer skills to new situations, new careers, new businesses that might not even exist today. And you'll need to do that over and over again. So why Curtin? Why studying business I've covered, but why study business at Curtin? Well, as I said, I'm in a School of Management and Marketing, which is part of the Curtin Business School, which in turn is part of a Faculty of Business and Law at Curtin. We have over 14,000 students from more than half the countries in the world, over 140 countries, and we have an alumni network of over 90,000 people around the world in most countries of the world. So wherever you go, as a graduate of Curtin University, you're part of that network that opens doors for you. We have very, very strong industry links and strategic partnerships with a wide range of industry partners, large and small. We work with a very broad network of industry bodies and professional associations. In fact, our advisory network comprises over 50 members of industry, from large multinational corporations down to SMEs, but all of them leaders in their field. And we use that advisory network to ensure that all of the curriculum that we teach is current, is up to date, and the world is changing rapidly, but we make sure that our curriculum changes with it because we have this network of professionals out there in the field telling us what's happening every day. We have regular updates from that advisory network so that our curriculum is always current. I won't repeat the point about being a truly global university with all of our many campuses that Nigel has mentioned. I will point out that we are the most accredited business school in Western Australia. We have AACSB accreditation. AACSB is a North American organisation, the Association for the Advancement of Collegiate Schools of Business. It's one of, I think, the largest accreditation schemes for business schools. We are also EQUIS accreditation. AACSB, as I said, is American. EQUIS is European. which is a similar sort of thing. It's an accreditation scheme for business schools around the world. I'm here talking about the BBA today, the Bachelor of Business Administration. I'm sure everybody has heard of the MBA, the Master's Level Business Admin degree. Our MBA degree is EFMB accredited as well. So all of these accreditations give you confidence that what you will get from a business degree at Curtin is a world-class qualification that's been rigorously assessed for quality assurance and for relevance and for currency, and that it meets the needs of graduates. PRME, someone has circled there. I'm not quite sure who's doing that. My hand's not on the mouse. PRME, the Principles of Responsible Management Education, is something that's also very important to us. And we heard Cesar speak about the Sustainable Development Goals, which are of course very, very important and laudable goals. It's sometimes tempting to blame the problems of the world on big business or on governments or on organisations in general. And perhaps that's not entirely unfair. But what's really important, or what we believe is very important, is that managers of the future and business people of the future understand the ethics of what they're doing. And we've signed up to the PRME, which is a United Nations initiative, which enshrines a set of principles for what business degrees and anybody teaching management education should cover to ensure that their graduates are not making the problem worse, or at least continuing to perpetuate the problems, and that the managers of the future will be the solution to the problem rather than the cause. And PRME is something that's enmeshed through all of the business degrees at Curtin, including the BBA. I should finally add, we've heard that we're part of the top 1%, Curtin is within the top 1% of universities worldwide. We're also, Curtin Business School is one of the top 10 business schools in Australia as well. So it's a rigorous, credible, reputable and internationally recognised qualification. Now, the Bachelor of Business Administration degree, the BBA in particular, is a broad, flexible and general degree. That's deliberate. The intention is not to be narrow and focus on one thing, but to allow graduates to have the widest range of opportunities available to them. So it helps diversify a career path so that you can work in almost any industry, I would say. It's a 3-year undergraduate degree, and it's really ideal for people who are looking for practical and industry-focused degree. It has a global focus. We're not parochial or provincial. We're not looking just at one country here or there. It has a global focus, so you can work anywhere in the world. And as I said, it's internationally recognised. It is a very, very flexible degree, and I'll get to the structure in a second, but it includes a range of specialisations that allow you to really narrow in on a particular aspect that interests you. You can study these specialisations as a single major, as part of a single major in another degree if you want, or as part of a double degree if you had that option. So if you are enrolled in a science degree or an engineering degree and you have some electives, you can pick up one of these specialisations as well. And we welcome the reverse as well. If there are other specialisations from other courses, you can pick one of those up as part of your BBA degree as well. So we're not precious, we don't mind. Flexible structure that I've just described was first launched in 2020, last year, and since 2019, just before we launched it to this year, the demand for the BBA has doubled, and we expect it to continue growing with very, very strong growth. We have very, very high student satisfaction scores in this degree, not just exceeding the university benchmark, but well clear of the university benchmark consistently. So students are happy. They see the value in what we're doing and they're satisfied in the course. It is offered in 3 locations, obviously, currently in Perth, where I am now, and in Dubai and in Malaysia. But of course, at SLIIT in Sri Lanka will be the 4th location where this degree is offered. And this means that as you're enrolled in the various units that comprise the BBA, and you're working with other students, you'll have the opportunity to engage with other students in other locations who will be enrolled in the course and completing the courseware at the same time as you, perhaps. Particularly Perth and Malaysia, which are on the same timeline as SLIIT as well, on the semester timeline. So, you know, you'd be part of discussion boards and all these sorts of things with other students in other locations doing exactly what you're doing. Now, the structure, I wish I could get rid of these red lines. A very flexible structure. There is a foundation or a core of 12 units covering analytics, communication, finance, marketing, a bit of everything. And you complete the 12 core. You might notice that there are only, the more alert of you might notice there are only not quite 12 bullet points here. That's because you'll also have a bit of space at the end. After you've completed the core, you'll choose 2 business specializations. Now, we're offering 3 specializations initially in Sri Lanka. That's digital marketing, international management, and the third one is innovation and entrepreneurship. Each of these specializations requires you to complete 4 units, so they're, you know, bite-sized pieces, if you like. You need to complete at least 2 of them from the BBA list, and then you have the option of picking up a third. Many students, we anticipate, will probably pick up the 3rd business specialisation, but it could be something else if that's available. And then finally, at the end of the degree, you get to choose what's called a capstone experience. Now, this is, we have a range of capstone experiences available. Now, some of them, I'll go through the ones that we will be offering in a second. Obviously, things like study tours, capstone experiences that we would hope to reintroduce at some point. We haven't been able to offer study tours for a little while for obvious reasons. But in their absence, we also have a capstone experience called Enhancing Your Business Mind, which is a team project. It basically helps you develop your entrepreneurial skills, working with a real business environment to improve your employability skills. There's also a similar thing called the Business Innovation Lab, which is essentially a startup environment. And so again, you work in an interdisciplinary team and you solve a problem for a startup organization, or you advance some sort of innovation for a startup organization, while putting into practice all of the different business skills that you've picked up along the way. So it's a capstone experience where you tie it all together before you go out to the real world. And you've already learned how to bring all of the marketing and the finance and the management and the HR, and all of these things have been brought together within your course. So when you go out and work for a real organisation, a real employer, it's not a surprise to you. You can, of course, I should just go back one point and say, if you wish, you don't need to pick up a 3rd specialisation. You can choose 4 elective units, and so that can be anything at all that's available at SLIIT. As long as you meet the prerequisites, then we have no objection whatsoever. So the structure is general. It prepares you for a wide range of careers. It has the flexibility for you to choose specialisations that are attractive and appealing to you. Hopefully allows you to chase whatever dreams you wish, and while still keeping all kinds of other options open. And I believe that's the end of information about the BBA. So I will now pass back to our hosts for Q&A, I believe.
Thank you, Professor Dell. So now I would like to invite Ms. Anjali Gamage, Senior Lecturer, Faculty of Computing, Coordinator, Curtin Computing Programs for SLIIT International, to give us a small introduction to the UniPrep program being introduced to the February 2022 intake students. Ms. Anjali, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Sandaji, and good afternoon to all the students and the parents. So, yes, now, of course, you must be very eager to start your university studies. But of course, there is a big kind of a transition that will happen from your high school to university. So what we have planned for you is kind of a preparation program where you will get some kind of insight to what is, there for you when you start your university program, the degree program. So this program specially designed for you to, get some idea and also to be prepared to face your degree program, the first semester, successfully. So now, when you start your university studies, the way that you learn might be a little different than what you have already done for your school studies, because there will be a lot of assignments, a lot of self-studies, a lot of student-centered learning. So tertiary education is like a lot of teaching and learning activities. So in order to prepare you, because you have some time until next February to start your degree program. So this is like, kind of a first step taken towards completing your degree very successfully. So we have several modules planned for you, like computational thinking and soft skills, graphic communication, learning skills, and also very important English concepts, which is useful for your academic purposes, and essential mathematics and computing skills, and also a little bit of appreciation of music for you to enjoy your study program. So these modules are specially prepared in line with the Curtin program, so that you will get an idea of the program itself, as well as you will complete the essential skills that is required for you for the next 3 years. Now, for an example, whether you're selecting to do a computing degree or an engineering degree or even business studies, there are a lot of academic reports that you have to write, presentations that you have to do, and vivas that you have to face. So our course, English for Academic Purposes, is specially designed for you to learn how to prepare these things, and also mathematics. I think it's like the basic mathematical skills that is required in different modules in the program. And of course, if you are specially selecting a computing degree, you need certain computational, skills, like, how to draw a flow chart, how to come up with an algorithm. So these basic things are included in this program. So when you start your first semester, you're skilled with all the essential necessities that you need to have to continue your program. So while we were preparing this program, we also looked at all the programs of the Curtin that we offer. So, this gap that you need to fill is filled with this program. And in addition to that, you will have a very enjoyable time. We will be doing a lot of activities, a lot of group activities, and if possible, if the country situation is going to be, better, hopefully, then you will have field trips and you will have a lot of events, student events organized in the campus. So this will be a very enjoyable time where you will get some insight to what your university life would be. And also we have a very light panel of lecturers, including professors and doctors and very experienced lecturers who will be doing sessions for you to make you knowledgeable on those areas. And also we help you to develop your soft skills, time management, leadership skills, presentation skills, and especially interpersonal skills, and also teamwork, because there'll be a lot of team activities that you may have to do for your assignments. So all these are taught you, and you get an kind of experience working in those areas. So this program is a very comprehensive program. And also we hope that you will enjoy this program with all the activities that we have planned for you. So this program is going to be started on 22nd of November and will continue until February, so that soon after the program you can join the degree program of your choice and continue your degree from there. So that's it about UniPrep program, and I'll be here if you have any questions about the program. And over to you, Sanagi.
Thank you, Ms. Anjali. I think that was a good introduction to the UniPrep program. So like she said, if there's any questions, you can all ask her during the Q&A session. So today we have one of our students here currently with us, the first year student who has completed his first year. We have Savit Rajakaruna to share his experience with all of you all. So he'll be letting you know how his life at SLIIT International and with the Curtin programs has been for the past year. So he's from the mechatronics batch and he's also a batch rep. So good afternoon, Savit.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, Savit. So I think you're done with your first year. You've finished all your exams and your lectures. So tell me, how are you these days? What are you up to?
Yeah, so I just had my second semester exams. They ended a few days ago, and now I'm just awaiting results.
Great, right. So with the pandemic and everything, I think everything's been online. You had lectures online and the exams. So I'm sure that was very different. But how was the experience for you? How were the lectures? Tell us a little bit about that.
The overall virtual experience was a bit different, yes, but we never felt the void of not having physical lectures because everything was organized. Everything was really interesting as well because when it comes to labs and all, everything we had it online, and those tools that we had to work with, and I was like engineering alone, it was like very interesting because we had to work with online tools like making circuits and all, and it was really fun. It was really interesting. So I really enjoyed the experience. So yeah.
Great, great. So good to hear that. So I think the audience members will be interested to know as to why you decided to select a foreign degree program for your higher studies, and why do you particularly decide to come into a Curtin degree program?
So to answer that question, I think when it comes to a foreign degree program, it's basically internationally recognized, right? And when it comes to Curtin as well, it's one of the top 1% universities around the world. So basically graduating from Curtin would mean that I would be opened up to a lot of opportunities, so many opportunities. And throughout my my 4 years, I'd be exposed to a lot of opportunities, a lot of very valuable opportunities that could potentially add value to my educational journey. So that's why I actually joined Curtin and chose the foreign degree.
Great. It was a well thought decision. So you're a batch rep also. And even though we've had lectures online, I'm sure you've had a chance to be involved in extracurricular activities and, been able to take part in events and such. So why don't you give us an idea about what were the events you took part in and the opportunities which opened up to you during the first year?
Yeah, so during the first year, I had the chance to actually be a part of two organizations. So first would be ISAC. And as soon as I joined Curtin, I joined the ISAC and SLIIT organization. So since then, I had a really good time there. I had an opportunity to join conferences, to host events, to be a part of organizing committees over there as well. So I've seen a lot of growth in myself as an individual. And also, I also joined the Gavel Club, where I learned a lot about public speaking. I improved my communication skills, and it really helped me, become the person I am today as well. So, yeah, I actually joined only those two extracurricular activities, but in the future, I'm looking forward to join a lot more because there's like a lot of opportunities out there, and also being a batch rep is a really like different experience. You get you get a lot of responsibilities, but it's really fun, doing it with others, like your batchmates. And we had a chance to host multiple events for our Curtin students as well, for our freshers as well. So overall, the experience has been really great, and yeah, it's just amazing. Thank you.
Sounds like you had a good eventful first year.
Yes.
So finally, so to the students who are looking to join to the program for the February intake, who will be your juniors, anything you would like to finally let them know?
So basically, university life is definitely one of the best parts of your life, right? So just it's not just about education. Just come here and do as much as you can. Like be a part of as many organizations as you can. Be a part of as many projects as you can, and just add value, like add lessons to your life as soon as, like as you go with with your life. And also yeah, and also at like SLIIT International over here, there are limitless opportunities, so you are never like you're never out of opportunities. So as soon as you find time, as soon as you can manage your education as well, just be a part of those organizations, be a part of those events, and it's going to be a really great experience for you guys. So yeah, we can't wait to have you guys over here at SLIIT International. So thank you so much. Good luck.
Right, thank you so much, Savit, and good luck for you as well for everything. Thank you for joining with us today. So now we are open for the questions and answer session. So you may unmute your mics and direct your questions, or you can always use the chat box as well to ask any clarifications. There is a question from a student. Do we have two teachers for each subject, one in local and one from Australia? Miss Anjali, if you could just clarify on that.
I can jump in
Sure,
if you want.
of course.
Every unit, that is every subject that you do, we call them units, has a unit coordinator, one unit coordinator. That unit coordinator is in Bentley. Campuses around the world, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Dubai, they have what we call in Bentley unit leaders. You may call them something different in Sri Lanka, but for us it's unit leaders, which is like a counterpart with the unit coordinator. And he is the person responsible for the organization and delivery of the unit at local level. The unit coordinator is responsible for the quality and production of most of the material, but unit leaders locally have freedom to adapt the materials to local circumstances. For example, to use local examples from local industry instead of examples from Australia when that's the case. So the unit coordinator and the unit leaders work closely together to resolve academic matters in case of, for example, academic misconduct, on where there are questions about students wanting clarification around how marks are going to be calculated, etc. There's an ongoing conversation between unit coordinator and leaders. So it's not that you have two teachers. There are one person is responsible for the unit, is in Bentley, another person responsible for the delivery at local level, which is your direct, your first point of contact. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you, Cesar. Yes, in addition to that, yes, we have local lecturers for each and every module, as you say, who will be collaborating with the Curtin lecturers, unit coordinators, and also we will deliver the lectures as it is with the same content at the local campus as well.
Thank you, Ms. Sanjay. Thank you, Professor Caesar. Also, we have a question regarding the pending A-level results. Students can apply with pending results, but they have to complete their GCE A-levels before applying. So we have two intakes, February and July. So once you have completed with the exams, whichever intake is upcoming next, students are free to apply as pending results. We have a question whether there is a possibility of doing the double degree program in Sri Lanka if we are following an engineering degree, and if so, what are the options available?
I can take that too.
Yes, of course.
We do have double degrees in engineering, some double degrees with science, which last for 5 years, semesters. We have double degrees with commerce, and those are 11 semester degrees, 5.5 years. And they are very popular. They are very popular. My understanding is at the moment, we don't offer double degrees in Sri Lanka directly, locally in Sri Lanka. The common first year is the same for single and double degrees. And sometimes the second year is also common. So if you do 2 years in Sri Lanka, chances are you can still do those when you transfer to Bentley. But you definitely need to transfer to Bentley because some of the units that are required for double degrees are not offered in Sri Lanka. So for more information about that, perhaps you have to contact your student services locally. But yeah, definitely double degrees are available.
Thank you so much, Professor Caesar. Also, we have a few more questions. Whether it's all 4 years in Sri Lanka, students have the options of transferring to the Curtin campus when they wish. So you can either complete all 4 years here, or you can transfer to any Curtin campus as you prefer as well. So this applies to both the IT and engineering degrees. So students, the transfer options, you can contact our enrollment team for more information on that. And if you have any questions on the entry requirements also, there is a chat link sent. So anyone who has any inquiries regarding that can visit our website and get more details or contact our hotline as well. In terms of the questions for the transfer program, we will provide you with the email address to contact us regarding the transferring of credits. So you can see if you are eligible to join the program.
And I can add, because there was another question asked to me privately about people who has qualifications, pre-qualifications, either a BTech or some years in engineering from other universities. And they were asking if those studies they've done will be recognized by, and the answer is yes. Yes, if units you did in a bachelor or BTech level have overlap with the units we offer at Curtin, you can get credits for those units. That is called the Credit for Recognized Learning Process, CRL. So at the moment of request enrollment, you have to submit your documents, your academic record from the other institutions, so we can evaluate the CRL and grant as many units as possible. We can't guarantee that every unit you've done will be recognized, but some units in calculus, linear algebra, mechanics, which are the most common, those units most likely will be recognized. But again, it's a case-by-case basis. So when you apply, just submit your documents along with your enrollment application.
Right, thank you. And also, if maybe Ms. Yashoda from the Global Uni Department can speak a little on the transfer options and questions. Ms. Yashoda?
Yes. Hi, Sanuji.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Yes, students do have the option to transfer. I see there's a question for engineering students. If you wish to, you have the option to do 2 years at SLIIT and transfer for the 3rd and 4th years to Curtin, Australia. If you would like to get more information regarding that, please feel free to contact me. I think Sanuji has put down my email address. We can provide you more information on that. Okay, Sanuji.
Thank you, Ms. Yashoda. We also have a question for engineering. Is it recommended to do additional internships to be more employable, or will this degree program be enough?
Well, again, I speak for engineering, and yes, absolutely. As I said, our vision is that you become an engineer, and what better way to become an engineer than working for an engineering firm? So if you have the opportunity to work, to get an internship in an engineering firm, by all means, take it. And yes, definitely they will. These internships will make you more employable.
Thank you, Professor Sanchez. Also, Do we have any more questions? If you have any further questions, you may unmute your mics and ask directly as well. Seeing as there seems to be no further questions, this brings us to the end of the Curtin University virtual panel session, and I'm sure now you are able to make a very informed decision about your higher education, which is no doubt one of the most important decisions you'll be making in your life. So we'll be providing the link and the contact details to register for our February intake in the chat box, so you can contact our enrollment team and get further details about the registration process. And also any other further questions as well. There's one additional question. The Engineers Australia accreditation is possible for all students in Sri Lanka. Professor Mahesh, if you could.
My understanding is at the moment, no, because for the accreditation process, Engineers Australia needs to pay a visit to SLIIT and accredit also the programs over there. You will get a sort of condition accreditation if you complete your degree over there. Conditional accreditation subject to the accreditation is happening in the near future. But yeah, if eventually our next round of accreditation will be in 2025. I'm not sure if this is in our plans. I don't know if it's in our plans to have an accreditation visit for Sri Lanka before that. But no, at the moment, the answer to your question is no, it won't be accredited.
Can I add on to that, please?
Yes,
there is a plan to for the accreditation panel to visit Sri Lanka next year. And
okay.
You will be graduating after 4 years' time. So I think by that time, it should be okay because our the students who are on the 2+2 program is Engineers Australia accredited. So I think a similar will be extended for the fully franchised program. So hopefully with the panel visit planned for August next year, should sort out all those concerns.
Yeah, I can kind of back that up as well after speaking to Professor Vishnu Parikh, who handles our accreditation here at Curtin. He said the same, that given the 2+2 was accredited by Engineers Australia, the fact that we are going to 4+0, Engineers Australia will no doubt see that as being a good step, and it should be accredited as well. So that will happen in due course as well.
Right, thank you. And also, I think Savindu, your question was just answered by us. So if there are no further questions, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Nigel, Dr. Hannes, Professor Sanchez, and Professor Dell from Curtin University, and all the other staff members from Curtin University as well, and Ms. Anjali from SLIIT International, and the staff and the students from SLIIT International who made this open day a great success. So thank you so much. And for everyone who participated today as well, thank you very much. And if you have any further questions, all the details of how to contact our team and how to get further information is mentioned in the chat box, so you can contact us at any time. So I would like to leave you with a saying by Nelson Mandela: education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So have a wonderful day and stay safe. And if you have any further issues, you can always contact us when needed. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you very much.